welcome back to Teen Story Share. This week we're starting a brand new book, A Gentle Tyranny by Jess Corban. This book has a very creative and interesting concept. It takes place in the future in a land called Nede. It will take a little bit to explain though, and I want to jump right into the story. So if you want a bit more on the background, including the Constitution of Nede, I'll be putting all that in the description below. Prologue, February 16th, 2067, Miami. It's finished, she thinks. It's really finished. Tristan Pierce's fingers move quickly along the patchwork of headlines, photos, and quotes covering the wall-sized bulletin board in her office. The tall brunette yanks the mementos from staples and tarnished pins and stuffs them into a small metal case within an army surplus duffel. According to Melisande, they could have company sooner than planned. Her friend is rarely wrong. But they're too late, she muses with satisfaction, smiling for the first time in months. No one will find us once we board the boat, and even if they do, what's done is done. The clippings are crisp between her fingers and spotted brown, like her own creasing skin, aged beyond her 41 years by the horrors she's witnessed. She considers reattaching them, leaving the wall as a memorial, a reminder to the monsters of what they've done. But, compulsive or not, she can't bring herself to part with her why. The impetus which propelled her to form the Safety Coalition almost 17 years before. This montage has pushed her, sustained her, through each nightmarish discovery and daunting obstacle she has faced as leader of the coalition. The headlines still ignite as much fury as the first time she read them. 9 out of 10 girls molested before age 15. Daughter sex, most searched internet term. Police find a dozen 4-year-old girls in brothel. Her gaze moves to a photo of 36 women in a heap of blood in black cloth, beheaded for crimes against Allah. Then to a faded picture of a younger Tristan, arm draped around a smiling young woman pinned behind the headline, Mutilated Teen Identified as Sasha Pierce. Once again, she allows rage to check the tears threatening to spill, neither her pain nor her fury dimmed decades after losing her sister to a man who showed no remorse for his crimes. As she slips the picture of Sasha into the case, a final headline stares back from the now blank wall. Will women ever be safe again? Even now, when she knows the answer to that last headline is yes, women will finally be safe again, more horrific memories bleed into the corners of her mind. She remembers her father, the first man who should have offered protection, but betrayed her instead. The others, who made a living degrading her, waking up in an alley, aching for death. If she were the only one violated, perhaps she could live with that. But she can't stand by while 2/3 of all women are stripped of their dignity, abused in countless ways, because of genetics. Simply because they're female, born to be prey for men, innocent prey like Sasha. Those brutes, she curses silently, heat flushing up her throat and into her cheeks. She rubs the back of her neck and inhales deeply, forcing herself to push down the dangerous spiral of fury. Breathe, Tristan, breathe. She has practiced the coping technique a million times, and taught it nearly as many to women around the world who found solace in the underground efforts of the coalition. All those women, battered, abused, frightened to lose their basic human rights, were an easy sell. In only a decade, she had gained the commitment of key women from each nation on every continent. Desperation fueled them to end the perversion, their passion coercing the moderates. When it was time to execute the liberation 16 months ago, worldwide implementation was seamless, completed 2 months earlier than scheduled. And now a new world is dawning. Tonight, Tristan, along with 20 other coalition members from the United States, will sail for their new home in Central America aboard a covert vessel. 54 international members will make their own journeys to the site, embarking from 25 countries around the world, from Australia to China, India to Haiti. They will transport their daughters, as well as any infant sons they gentled during the liberation, to begin again at a safe haven disguised as a top-secret military base. The rest of the world will live out its final generational cycle. Every detail has been accounted for. Thanks to the efforts of the Safety Coalition, no remaining male will be able to reproduce, and hundreds of coalition leaders representing millions of members will stay behind to handle media manipulation and unforeseen issues. Most have agreed to live out their days among the savages, knowing their sacrifice will enable the future they've worked so hard to secure for future generations. But as for Tristan and the brave few who accepted her invitation to create a world free from fear, they will begin again. And this time, they will do it right. She rolls up the Constitution drafted at their last International Council meeting in Rio de Janeiro and squeezes it into the duffel along with a well-worn leather journal. Then she straps the bag atop a large reflective metal case, the key to their present success and future survival, and wheels it toward the door. Outside, the screeching of tires announces Mel's arrival. Tristan steals a final glance at the lone headline on the wall, pondering the enormous responsibility she carries to usher in a renewed era, an era safe from the depravity of men. As founding councilwoman of the coalition, she has been given the task of naming the new society. According to the religion she once believed in, it was in an ancient garden, the Garden of Eden, that men first poisoned the world with patriarchy. They've tried to rule over us ever since, she thinks, grimacing. But we'll reverse all that. We'll do it differently. Create a system opposite of everything that screwed up this backwards world. We'll even reverse the name of its origin. Eden stood for repression, but Nede, she whispers, her decision made. Nede will stand for women. Chapter 1. January 2267. Nede. The sticky sweet scent of orange blossoms quickens my pulse, triggering a nervous twist in my gut. We're almost there. Callisto, my pinto horse, weaves a little faster through the rows of citrus and mango trees, as eager as I am to reach our destination. Howler monkeys announce our arrival, crouching in the tall, broad-leafed teak trees that stand sentinel around a large clearing. It's a poor replica of the real arena in Phoenix City, but it's mine. Bright sunlight illuminates a maze of makeshift jumps, barrels, hoops, and other obstacles. When Mother had this section of the teak forest harvested 5 years ago, I begged her not to replant it. "What do you want it for, Reina?" she had asked, concern wrinkling the corners of her hazel eyes. I didn't answer, but I knew she'd already guessed. She let me claim the field anyway, let me have the very thing she knew could take me away from her. Callisto stamps a hoof as I adjust my legs over her bare back. A click of my tongue sends her happily running around the barrels, high-stepping over lattices of branches and logs and ducking through a curtain of dried vines. She hesitates at the jumps, but I don't have to urge much to get her to acquiesce. She is the best of horses. After half a dozen laps, I retrieve homemade weapons from a sun-bleached wooden shed, a rough-hewn short sword, a bow, and a hip quiver of arrows. I arrange targets around the clearing for my session, pinning a leaf to a trunk here, balancing a rock on a stump there. My weapons would garner smirks from anyone who knows anything about the real things, but I've never had the heart to ask Mother for authentic ones. So I'm left with this roughly carved bow made from an ipe branch and linen string, arrows fashioned out of thin branches and fletched with chicken feathers, and a short sword that couldn't pierce a pillow. But I'm partial to my weapons because of the gentle who crafted them for me, in secret, like everything about our friendship. Anyway, at least they've helped me learn the basic mechanics of archery and swordplay, in case I muster the nerve to... A rustle pulls my attention to a pile of leaves. A lizard skitters up a stump and I quickly take aim. I'm about as good at hitting moving targets as I am at keeping the articles, but I try anyway. No surprise, the lizard lives to see another day. Behind me, Callisto makes a noise that sounds suspiciously like a laugh. "What are you snickering at?" She stares back, feigning innocence. Sometimes I wish she could talk, but not now. I mount her again, this time with sword tucked into my belt and bow at the ready, and begin to trot the course, shooting poorly as I go. Focus, Reina. I squeeze the bow's grip harder, but sheer determination won't make the arrows hit true. The next shot misses its target by a handbreadth. Ugh, I wish I had someone to teach me. What I lack in skill, Callisto more than makes up for. She does her part brilliantly, breezing through the choreography of each obstacle. Ever since my first visit to the real arena, almost 10 years ago now, I've been obsessed with Nede's peacekeepers and their sleek horses, tempted by a dream that would crush Mother. I fine-tuned Callisto's footwork for almost a year before I even tried to shoot a bow from her back. Now I can trust her to weave and jump through weathered posts and vine-wrapped hoops with little guidance from my lower body, even without a saddle. My torso and arms can focus on my weapons. Well, except on the last obstacle, the breach, named for the challenging gap between two inclined ramps, and it's coming next. I'm not yet steady enough to make this jump and shoot at the same time. Maybe I never will be. But if I maintain my focus, I can keep my seat across the breach without holding on to the circle of rope around Callisto's neck. I position my legs, sway with her movements, and prepare to soar across 2 meters of nothing. Just as Callisto's hooves hit the bottom of the ramp, another rustle snatches my attention. This one bigger and farther away, toward the edge of the teak rows, where thick brush and leafy vines mark the edge of our property. My eyes follow a flash of brown that darts from behind a wood target toward the thicket. 2 legs, not an animal. The figure is brown all over and covered in dirt, and Callisto lunges forward in a mighty jump. I feel my legs come loose, and I'm thrown through the air. It all happens so fast. 1 second, I'm twisting and falling. The next, my head collides with a support beam on the far ramp. Sparks shoot through the darkness like the pain ricocheting around my skull. I vaguely feel my face rub into the dirt. I register pain first, then something, cloth, being wrapped around my head. I should try to open my eyes, but before I muster the strength, a sound freezes me solid. A voice. I've never heard one like it. We should take her to the house in the valley. That's where she lives. The tone rumbles like rock against rock, deep as the river. It's quickly followed by another, even thicker voice. Are you crazy? Torvis would kill you. Kill you. We're not even supposed to be here. What do you suggest? We just leave her here, unconscious? Yes, she's fine. Girl or not, that hit wouldn't kill her. It doesn't feel right leaving her like this, Rowan. Fine, I'll put her in some shade. You watch from that thicket till she wakes up if you want. But you better not let her see you, or I swear, Jace, I'll skin you myself. All right. 1 set of footsteps trails away, and I'm lifted like a sheaf of dry grass. I vaguely realize this should terrify me. Even in my pain-induced fog, there's a nagging awareness that my limp body hovers unnaturally over the ground, held in midair by 2 impossibly strong arms. No gentle could do that. Those weren't women's voices either. My pulse quickens to a distant double-time beat, which only makes the pounding in my head worse. I claw toward coherence, gathering just enough clarity and courage to open my eyes, the tiniest sliver. The face is as foreign as its voice, shaped more like a gentle's than mine, but squarer, with bristles on its cheek and wild, dark hair, pulled back but not tamed. It's a he, I think, though his strength far surpasses a gentle's, eclipses even mine. Am I dead? Dreaming? His bare chest sticks to my cheek and feels rough with hair? On his chest? What the bats? In the blurry corners of my narrow vision, I can just make out his neck and one shoulder, muscles tensed from their load. They're pronounced, like a stallion's flank after a run. Whoever, whatever this is, I think I should be afraid. I tell myself to do something, to swing, or kick, or yell, but my body won't listen. He lays me down as softly as a kiss on a pile of teak leaves. I sigh into it, relief washing over me. Don't try to move now. He's going to leave. But he doesn't seem in a great hurry. First, he adjusts the cloth wrapped around my head, and then, for some reason, his fingers linger near my face. There's resemblance, he mumbles in a husky whisper to himself or the other one, I'm not sure. But she's beautiful. He gingerly wipes a trickle of blood from my forehead, and I flinch involuntarily, sending him running for the thicket. His footsteps fade, but I still can't move. My head aches like it got kicked by a mare. I lie still in the cool leaves for who knows how long, immobilized half from throbbing pain, half from lingering panic, letting my heart slow and giving, whoever that was, the chance to disappear. He told the other one to wait and watch in the brush. Are they both there now? There's nothing to be afraid of, Ray. I grit my teeth and will myself to believe it. I'm not accustomed to fear. The sensation irritates me. Relax. Whoever they were, they didn't want to hurt me. You're fine. Still, when I finally get to my feet, I head straight for Callisto. I am braver with her. I heave myself clumsily onto her sweaty back. Only then do I find the courage to scan the thicket at the edge of the clearing. No movement. Of all the stupid, I mumble, touching a finger to the tender lump on my head, gashed down the center and still throbbing. I lean against Callisto's neck for support. I suppose that's enough training for today. Perched on my horse, still frozen in indecision despite the lack of immediate threat, I replay the bizarre events. It all happened so fast. I slog through the sequence again and again, searching for any clue that might shed light on the stranger's identity, their purpose for being there, the reason they emerged from the shadows to help me, the odd words spoken by the one who carried me. No answers come. Eventually, the dizziness ebbs and I unwrap the cloth tied around my head. The bleeding has stopped. The fabric is a shirt of sorts, made of a stiff material, dirty, and now stained with my blood. That explains the bare chest. But it doesn't explain who they were or why they were at Bay Terra. I drop the cloth on a half-hidden stump, not wanting to worry anyone or raise questions about my whereabouts this morning by bringing it to the villa. Come on, girl, let's go home. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the very beginning of this story. Next time we're going to read some more of chapter 1 because it's a pretty long chapter, so we're stopping here. But have a great weekend and see you again next week. Bye-bye!